Champ now. Yes, I didn't say. What are you looking so sad about, Champ?
I'm surprised. I mean, I'm really insulted. That's not right, what you just said.
What do you mean, what I just said?
I mean, I'm getting a drink of water. I'm late getting home, but you talk. I said something about the greatest heavyweight champ, man. I'm a hometown man, and you talk about Joe Louis, man. Joe Louis wouldn't be nothing for me. Joe, I tell you, Joe, do you think you would have stood a chance with me?
Well, Clay, one time during my career, I went on a Bomber of the Month tour.
I would have been a bum compared to you.
Well, you don't.
What's happening, my people? It's Cast Sports again, back for another afternoon with the family. That's right. You know what time it is. If it's Monday through Friday, 2 p.m., it's the Boxtorian, bringing you all that boxing history. Boxing is the greatest sport of them all. That's why we love it. Can't get enough of it. Miss Cass, Mike Rim. Salute, Mike. Salute to everyone. And welcome to another episode of Cass Sports, the Boxtorian. Today, one-hit wonders. How's the family today? Back for another afternoon of boxing history. Still early in the week. We're going to talk about some guys that had very short reigns. One-hit wonders, okay? Tomorrow we're going to have the most overrated and underrated fighters of all time. Thursday, the Boxing in the State series continues with Vermont. We've been trying to do Vermont for the last 3 weeks now. We got 3 weeks left. We're winding down. Friday, the life and career of the Galveston Giant, Jack Johnson. Okay? But one-hit wonders, there's one right there, Buster Douglas. He was the poster child for one-hit wonder. Okay? He shocked the world when they upset Mike Tyson. Everybody know about that one. And then We never saw that Buster again, so he's going to be in here. BN Boxing News. What's happening, BN Boxing News? Salute. One-hit wonders today. Just talking about Buster Douglas. He was a one-hit wonder. That Buster that beat Mike Tyson would have been a problem, but we never saw him again. And then he went right out and lost his next fight. First title defense to Holyfield. Fought a little bit longer, but never reached the heights that he did when he beat Mike Tyson. Never even came close to that. But for the highlights of boxing history today, we're going to talk about 10 of the weakest chins in boxing history. You know Amir Khan is on that list, the weakest chins list. That's going to be the highlights of boxing history. 10 of the weakest chins in boxing history. Okay, but how's everybody today? It's Tuesday. Still got a big week of boxing history in front of us coming up. So let's start with the highlights of boxing history. 10 of these weakest, talk about these weak chin guys. Great talents, but just the chin failed them so many times. It was their downfall. So highlights of boxing history. I think we got about 4 cards this weekend. No big names. Mike says Milli Vanilli. Yeah. No big names this weekend, but I think it's like 4 cards. Yup. I think the next big one, I know we got Keyshawn and he's fighting in early May. And Abdullah Mason taking a big step up. He's taking on the African guy. I can't think of his name right now. The one that fought Shakur, and then Yuri Tyler stopped him in the second round. It'll come to me. But yeah, Abdullah is taking a big step up next month. And then is the Tank and Lamont Roach card still on? It's not on the schedule anymore. I know that. So wow, what's up with that? Man, he's talking about fighting Jake Paul. Come on, man. It's like a side circus show type fight. But let's get into the highlights of boxing history. This is 10 of the weakest chins of all time in boxing. These 10 guys we're going to talk about now. Now, weak chin, glass jaw, chinny, those are some of the most hurtful labels fans place upon a boxer. But unfortunately, these otherwise elite fighters we're going to talk about today were all let down by their punch resistance. Okay? Now, not every boxer can be a Canelo Alvarez or Jake LaMotta or a Hagler or Gennady Golovkin, blessed with a seemingly indestructible jaw. Some boxers, despite excelling in other areas, speed, skill, stamina, or punch power, spend a lot of their career going up and down like a toilet seat, right? Yeah, all these guys were good boxers, skillful, but their chin always let them down. Now, these are kind of the top boxers who achieve so much in the ring and often show tremendous heart, but could have done even okay. First, I did a weakest heavyweight chins list one time. Frank Bruno was on that one too. We're gonna start out with Frank Bruno, and when you know it, there he is delivering a punch to Tyson, but Tyson ended up knocking him out. Frank Bruno. Now, Great Britain's beloved Big Frank, he was a strange case in that he actually withstood some mighty early wallops from some serious heavyweight punchers like Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson. But all 5 of his defeats came by stoppage. Bruno's problem was that his resilience seemed to deteriorate as the fight wore on. And he often found himself propped up against the ropes, fists down, slipping punches as the referee stepped in. No questioning Frank's courage, if only his whiskers had been of the same quality. Yep, Frank makes the weak chins list. Vladimir Klitschko. And they called his brother Dr. Orange, or Orange Fist, or Orange something, but his brother Vitaly had a great chin. If only Vladimir had his chin and his skills. Vladimir's skills with Vitaly's chin, he would have probably would have been undefeated. Now Vladimir Klitschko, he is taking a big shot right there. He's out of there. After that shot there, he's out of there. An all-time great heavyweight who's went 11 years unbeaten in his prime, but did so by keeping opponents at the end of a ramrod jab to protect his weak chin. Okay? Ross Purity, Corey Sanders, and Lamont Brewster all stopped Klitschko, while Samuel Peter knocked him down 3 times but lost on points. Yet, the Ukrainian survived some huge punches from Anthony Joshua in his final fight before being taken out in the 11th round. Vladimir Klitschko. Now, what if Vlad had the same iron jaw as his brother, the seemingly unbreakable Vitaly? We would have been looking at the perfect heavyweight package. Yeah, like I was saying, Vladimir's skills with Vitaly's chin probably would have been undefeated. But if next on the weak chins list, Victor Ortiz. There's Victor. Now, that fight against Floyd, anybody would have knocked him out. He put trying to shake Floyd's hand and left himself wide open. Remember that? Headbutted Floyd on purpose and then going to try to apologize in the middle of the fight. The referee didn't say stop, so Floyd clocked him, and that was the end of it. Now, Victor Ortiz was the last genuine boxer Floyd Mayweather knocked out, right? Until his fight against Conor McGregor, but we don't count that one. That wasn't a boxer, that was the MMA guy. So Victor Ortiz was the last guy Floyd really knocked out. And the fight was controversial. Floyd striking when Ortiz naively lowered his gloves. But 2 more stoppage losses following in his next 2 fights to confirm Victor's vulnerability. Marcos Maidana was the first to defeat Ortiz inside the distance in their 2009 war. That contest shaped the American Southpaw's reputation. A quick, gifted, stylish boxer who looked and acted the part, but who was missing the X factor that real champions possess. That chin. Tommy Morrison makes the list. There's Tommy down on his knees. Tommy Morrison. Now, Morrison played Tommy Gunn in Rocky V and basically lived out that character's early story arc. But Morrison was never beaten up by Sylvester Stallone in a street fight. But the red-hot heavyweight prospect was stopped in only 28 seconds by Ray Mercer in 1991. One of boxing's most brutal knockouts ever. Another short first-round knockout, this time to Michael Bett in 1993, sealed Morrison's shaky status. Oddly, he lasted 12 rounds with an aged George Foreman by wisely avoiding his hefty but ponderous punches. It even took Lennox Lewis in the round 6 before inevitably being stopped. Tommy Morrison. Next, on the weak chins list, is Audley Harrison. Audley Harrison. This Audley you can't see Audley, but he's down there. He's on the mat. Oh yeah, you can see him. He's over that way. Okay. Okay, let's go. Audley Harrison. Now, a terrific amateur who won Olympic gold in 2000. Harrison's pro career was not quite the flop it is painted to be. He won the European heavyweight title and challenged for world honors, but his dull southpaw style was in part there to protect a suspect chin. Michael Spratt revealed that with a third-round knockout in 2007. Audley rebuilt, but was taken apart in a mismatch against David Haye 3 years later. First-round knockouts by David Price and Deontay Wilder followed. Okay? Wilder versus Harrison. How was that even allowed? Yeah, that's Deontay right there. Got him on the mat. Now, Julian Jackson had a lot of pop, but his chin, Julian Jackson, he makes the list. It's Julian on the left there. Okay, Julian Jackson. Now, glass cannon is boxing speak for a fighter with formidable power, but who is also fragile when it comes to return fighting. Yeah, glass cannon. He's got formidable power and a weak chin. The Hawk may embody that better than any other fighter. The flat-top Virgin Islander was a devastating one-punch knockout artist. Just ask Britain's Harold Graham about that. However, in his 55-6, 49 knockout record, all 6 defeats came by stoppage. Mike McCallum scored a knockout in the second round over Jackson, while Gerald McClellan stopped him twice. Yet, Jackson was also a 3-time world champion and thrilled fans worldwide, as he still had a career to be proud of. Yeah, had a weak chin, but he still had a great career, you know? 55 wins, 49 of them by knockout. That ain't bad. Know what I'm doing. That's the 89% knockout ratio. But all 6 of his losses did come by stoppage. Okay, for Julian Jackson. The gentleman of boxing makes the list, the weak chins list. Floyd Patterson. There he is, man down, put there by Sonny Liston twice. I mean, those 2 fights were carbon. Anybody seen those? The 2 Floyd Patterson, Sonny Liston fights were carbon copies of each other. The second fight, both first-round knockouts, almost at the same exact time in the round. The second time was only 4 seconds later than the first fight. Just carbon copies of each other, man. You could have just took the first fight and just played it over. Knockout came just 4 seconds later in the first round than the first fight, almost the exact same time. Floyd Patterson, the gentleman of boxing, makes the weak chins list. A supremely quick and skillful heavyweight champion, Patterson is unfortunately also remembered for being knocked down a total of 19 times in his career. Lost his world title to Sonny Liston by a first-round knockout in 1962, then lasted just 4 seconds longer in the rematch the following year. There's no shame in losing to one of the hardest punchers ever, like Sonny Liston, or to Muhammad Ali twice. But Patterson was also knocked down 7 times in one fight by Sweden's Ingemar Johansson, and was even knocked down by Pete Rademacher, who was making his pro debut. That is not ideal, Floyd. He got knocked down by a man making his pro debut. Couple more to go. Bruce Seldon. Yeah, him and Mike and Don King in the face-off. That fight happened the same night Tupac Shakur was killed in Vegas. Matter of fact, Tupac was at the fight. Got killed later that night. Yep, Bruce Seldon and Mike Tyson. Now, Seldon infamously flopped to the canvas less than 2 minutes into a fight against Mike Tyson in 1996, without a fight-ending punch clearly appearing to land. But maybe Bruce was just anticipating what was inevitably going to happen. or possibly his chin really was dead weak. Before the punch even came, he went down. Now, that's a weak chin there. After all, Felton had already been stopped by Oliver McCall and Riddick Bowe, also a first-round knockout by Bowe in 1991. After his paltry effort against Tyson, Felton would be stopped 4 more times. So by the time of his belated retirement, 7 of the defeats in his 48 record were by knockout. Okay, 8 losses, 7 by knockout. Okay, and here we go. You know this guy. You're doing a weak chins list. Like I always say, it would be criminal to leave this guy here off. Amir Khan. Amir King Khan. Amir King Khan. There he is fighting Bud. Bud stopped him, didn't he? I think it was something like a low blow or something stopped him. Wasn't it something like that? Yeah. Now, there's no question in Khan's bravery or almost superhuman hand speed, but a less than titanium chin coupled with occasionally glaring defensive holes too often spelled disaster. Unheralded, Breeders' Prescott wrecked Khan's unbeaten record with a 54-second knockout in 2008. Yeah, first round, 54 seconds. Amir rebuilt himself. He became a world champion and even beat noted puncher Marcos Maidana over 12 rounds. But that vulnerability was always lurking. And Danny Garcia's left hook sparked another savage knockout before stoppage defeats by Canelo Alvarez, Terence Crawford, and finally Kell Brook. Yeah, Canelo and Kell Brook. Kell Brook was the last one. They were both way past their prime when they fought Kell Brook, but Canelo, that was savage. Okay, finally, last one, David Price. Last one on the weak chins list for the highlights of boxing history today. David Price. There's David. Thomas Hill. What's up, Thomas Hill? In the building. Please just for the highlights of boxing history. Talking about some weak chins, T. Hill. Yeah. I was using the sunlight for my light and it looked like it's going to rain. It got cloudy. Can't see nothing. Okay. Thomas Hill, salute. All right, let's do David Price is the final one. Yeah, we got the boxing pharmacist in here, BN Boxing News. Okay, David Price. Strange to think that had they fought 11 years ago, British heavyweight champion Price would have been strongly favored to beat Tyson Fury, whom he had defeated as an amateur. But while Fury would ascend to glory, a series of brutal knockouts derailed Price's career. In defense of the 6'8" hard-hitting Price, the first 2 boxers to stop him, Tony Thompson twice, then Erkan Tapir, failed drug tests, right? And the Tapir defeat was altered to a no contest, but he still got knocked out. But by then, the damage to Price's reputation had already been done. Knockout losses to Christian Hammer, Alexander Povetkin, a nasty knockout by another fighter who tested positive for drugs. Yeah, Povetkin already also tested positive to drugs. No, Sergey Kuzmin and Derek Chisora followed. He had 3 knockouts to fighters that tested positive for drugs. Sergey Kuzmin also tested positive. And Derek Chisora knocked him out too. So there you have it, 10 of the weakest chins in boxing history. Okay, now let's talk about the one-hit wonders today. Okay, one-hit wonders. And there's the one-hittest wonder of them all. One-hittest wonder of them all right there. What's the guy? What's his name? Buster Douglas. Yeah, Buster Douglas. Yeah, Buster could have been something. He would have stayed in shape, but he didn't want it. Nah. Buster, they said he was almost 400 pounds in between the Tyson and Holyfield fights. Lost his first title defense to Holyfield. Yep. messed up the Tyson Holyfield fight. Well, we finally got it, but it was going to be in the early 90s if Mike had beat Buster. But like I told you before, Buster didn't get the memo. He was just a tune-up for Tyson to get ready for Holyfield. Nobody told Buster that. 42-1 underdog. William Old School of Red said he picked. He's the only one that I ever knew that said they picked Buster. I didn't know Old School then, but I take his word for it. He said he picked Buster to win that fight. Old School said he had some inside information. Yeah, but how's everybody today? Tomorrow is going to be a brand new show. This is a rerun from last year here. Tomorrow is going to be a brand new show. Tomorrow is going to be the most overrated and underrated boxers of all time. Most overrated and most underrated of all time tomorrow, okay? And got a special piece on Michael Spinks on why was he so underrated. Yeah, Mike's underrated. Because you know the thing with Michael Spinks is he had a great career. But most people remember him by his last fight, that 91-second knockout loss to Mike Tyson. Especially a casual fan. That's all they know Michael Spinks by that record-breaking 91-second knockout to Mike Tyson, right? You know, his last performance. You know, the guy's in the Hall of Fame, you know. Reigned as light heavyweight champion all through the early 80s. 80s was one of the best decades for light heavyweights, and it was led by Michael Spinks, the best of them all. Beat Larry Holmes twice. That's what the judges said. Anyway. But yeah, we're going to talk about Michael's special piece to him tomorrow. Why is he so underrated? Because he definitely is. Like I said, most people remember Michael by that last performance, the 91-second loss to Tyson. Yeah. But he did a lot more than that. Like I said, the man's in the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Long reigning light heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. The judges said he beat Larry Holmes twice. I don't think he did, but you know, I'm not a judge. Was Adelaide Berry judging that fight? Or the other woman, Eugenia Williams? Yeah. Because she was terrible. Told y'all she was one round, Lennox Lewis outlanded Holyfield by like 50-8 or something. And she gave the round to Holyfield. They said, were you even at ringside for that round, ma'am? Wow. Okay, let's get started. One-hit wonders. I was trying to stall till 2:30. Still got like a minute and a half. But how's everybody today? It's Tuesday. Like I said, we still got a big week of boxing history in front of us. We're going to do Vermont. We got 6 more weeks, 6 more states in the boxing in the States. Vermont this week, Thursday. And life and career of the Galveston Giant, Jack Johnson, Friday. I thought I had did him, but no, I didn't. I checked. So yeah, the life and career of the Galveston Giant, Jack Johnson. Al Booger's boy. There, Al Booger know a lot about Jack Johnson, yeah. The biggest one-hit wonders in boxing history. Who more fitting to put on the thumbnail? Buster Douglas. Mm-hmm. Didn't just beat Mike, knocked him out, put Mike down for the 10 count. Yes, he did. But we never saw that Buster again. That Buster would have been a problem for all of them. Holyfield, Lennox Lewis, Riddick Bowe, all of them in the 90s. Would have went down as one of the greats of the 90s. The one-hit wonders in boxing history. Okay, let's go. Now, while this collection of boxers did not achieve sustained success, they did make the most of the opportunity before ultimately fading from the spotlight. Yeah. They all were champions, though. You can say that much for them. Just not for long. Okay? Just not for long. They all had the title for a minute. We're going to see if we can get some link time. We haven't had some link time in a minute. If we can squeeze some in there at the end of today. First one-hit wonder, we go back a ways. Jess Willard. I'm in the wrong place. Okay. Jess Willard. There's Jess Willard. Oh, it's Jess Willett. Yeah, fought back in the like 1900 to 1920, around in that front time frame. Jess Willett. Okay, one hit wonder. Now, decades before the 12-round title fight, and shortly before the 15-round championship left was the law of the land, Willett toppled storied heavyweight champion Jack Johnson in the 26th round of their 1915 title fight. Willett caught the longtime champ in his later years and was losing most of the rounds, but the then 33-year-old Kansas native stopped the 37-year-old champion in the Havana, Cuba attrition war. Willett defended his title just one time in 1916, but lost the strap to Jack Dempsey by third-round stoppage in 1919. He only had one title defense in that time frame. Jess Willett. Let's stay back there since we back there. Fireman Jim Flynn. Fought around that same time frame as Jess Willett. Fireman Jim Flynn makes the one-hit wonder list. The more trivial question than one-hit wonder Flynn. The more trivial question than one-hit wonder. Flynn is the only man to knock out Jack Dempsey. This came in 1917, 2 years before the Manasseh Mauler began his heavyweight title reign. But it's notable because of Flynn's journeyman career. At age 37, Flynn met a 21-year-old Dempsey at a town near Salt Lake City. And he was 69 wins and 34 losses at the time, okay? 23 draws. The 5'10" Flynn, nevertheless, floored the future all-time great multiple times in round one, forcing a stoppage from Dempsey's corner. Dempsey knocked Flynn out in round one when they met in 1918. Flynn, who fought Jack Johnson and Sam Langford a combined 8 times, ended his career with 45 losses. But he did stop Jack Dempsey, okay? Fireman Jim Flynn. He's the only man that can say that. Okay, Jack Dempsey, I don't think he ever got stopped. Gene Tunney beat him twice, but I think they were both decisions. Okay. Harold Dade. Harold Dade on the left. One-hit wonders today. A Chicago native, Dade made a big name for himself in 1947 by defeating all-time great Manuel Ortiz to win the Bantamweight Championship. This was a strong era for the lower weight classes, and Dade entered the fight at 16 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws. The swift-footed Midwesterner won a wide decision over the future Hall of Famer in their January 1947 fight in San Francisco. But the California native avenged the defeat 2 months later in a match that also went 15 rounds. Ortiz beat him in the rematch. Dade finished his career 38 wins, 32 losses, 6 draws. But one of those 38 wins was a win against the great legendary Hall of Famer, Manuel Ortiz. Oh, wait a minute. What's it? Carlos Ortiz. Manuel Ortiz, yeah. Both great fighters. Yeah, Dade had a win over Carlos Ortiz. Randy Turpin. That's who he beat for his one-hit wonderness. Sugar Ray Robinson. Yep. Is that a word, wonderness? But that's who he beat for his, Sugar Ray Robinson. Probably the greatest hit on this list. Turpin beat Sugar Ray Robinson, the sports pound-for-pound king. At the height, Sugar Ray was at the height of his powers in 1951. The Brit bested the American legend in July 1951 by decision in England before losing the middleweight title back to Robinson just 2 months later in the United States. The once untouchable welterweight fought 7 times in Europe that summer, but ended the tour on a sour note. Turpin was a longtime contender who in the multi-belt era would have enjoyed more championship opportunities, but his name will live on as long as boxing exists because of this upset right here, Sugar Ray Robinson. Yep, he beat Sugar Ray in his prime, 1951. Okay, and Sugar Ray was still at welterweight. All his years at welterweight was prime Sugar Ray. But he took the title back 2 months later. But that makes Randy Turpin a one-hit wonder. Ray Portilla. Okay. That's Ray on the left. You see that? Tito Portilla. Now, Joe Brown became a Hall of Famer after his career included a then record, 11 defenses of the lightweight title. Now, non-title fight in 1960 ranks as a rather random slip-up. Portilla stopped the champion by a 6-round TKO, with Brown suffering broken ribs in the San Antonio fight. Portilla had lost his previous 3 fights. It was 22 wins, 29 losses, and 1 draw when he fought Brown. The Americans never faced each other again. Portilla ended his career with a sub-500 record a year later. Brown went on to win 121 fights. He was Ring Magazine's Fighter of the Year in 1961 and continued his 6-year title reign until 1962. But Ray Portilla had that win against him, and unfortunately for Ray, it was a non-title fight, so he did not get the title. Yeah. Al Booger in the building. What's up, Al Booger? How are you today? One-hit wonders today. Man, I need some light. The sun was coming through the window giving me light, but all of a sudden it stopped shining, and now the light won't come on. Okay, here we go. The laptop is kicking out enough. Salute, Al Booger. How you doing today, bro? We talking about one-hit wonders, okay? Next is Billy Backus. Some guys that had short reigns. And when we get through this, we got a piece about the shortest reigns in heavyweight history. Some of the shortest reigns in heavyweight history. Billy Backus. That's Billy on the right there. Okay? Kind of like Elvis Presley. Sideburns need to be a little bit wider. Elvis was a little bit wider than that. You know, in this other picture I'm looking at now, Elvis sideburns on this picture. But hailing from the New York town where the International Boxing Hall of Fame would later be built, Canastota, Backus also has notable bloodlines in being Carmen Basilio's nephew. In 1970, Backus beat one of his era's best fighters. Now, earning a title shot that oddly occurred in Syracuse, near Backus' hometown, the underdog stock welterweight champion, Jose Napoles, on cuts in a bloody brawl to win the WBA and WBC 147-pound belts. The American entered that fight at 29 wins, 10 losses, 4 draws, but held the straps for 6 months. And then Napoles, the Cuban future Hall of Famer, knocked Backus out in June of 1971. Backus fought until 1978, but never challenged for a title fight, a title belt again, was never in another title fight. But he did have it for 6 months. Okay? Now, I was saying Buster Douglas was the biggest one-hit wonder, but I don't know, this guy might beat Buster out. Leon Spinks for that Ali performance. A 7-fight novice when he beat Muhammad Ali, the greatest. Leon did, yep. Just 7 fights professionally and beat Ali. Yeah, I watched that whole fight, man. That night. And Leon pulled it out. Leon Spinks. The elder Spinks brother joined Michael in claiming gold at the 1976 Summer Olympics. Leon became a big name quicker than Michael as a pro, though, given a title shot against Muhammad Ali in his 8th pro fight. Okay, that's 7-0 at the time. Spinks wrested the belt away from the then 36-year-old boxing deity in their then February 1978 matchup. Spinks remains the least experienced heavyweight to win a title in history. Now, instead of facing mandatory challenger Ken Norton, Spinks gave Ali an immediate rematch. In better shape for the September 1978 rematch, Ali prevailed by decision. Neon Leon earned title shots at heavyweight and cruiserweight after the Ali fight, but lost both by knockout, ending his career at 26 wins and 17 losses with 3 draws. Leon Spinks, one-hit wonder, beat Muhammad Ali in his 7th professional fight. Neon Leon. Kirkland Lane. Mike Mazik. What's up, Mike Mazik? How are you today? One-hit wonders today, Mike. Just pretend you didn't see this show last year, Mike, okay? Got a brand new, spanking new one for you tomorrow. So tomorrow is, I forgot. It's on the paper. Oh, there it is. Tomorrow is the, I forgot that quick. No, I'm just kidding. The most underrated and overrated fighters of all time. Most overrated and underrated fighters of all time coming up tomorrow. Kirkland Lane. But salute Mike Mazik. Kirkland Lane. After Sugar Ray Leonard took back his welterweight title from Roberto Duran, the Panamanian icon moved up to the junior middleweight division. Now, while campaigning at 154, he endured a shocking upset loss to Lang in 1982, beat the hands of Stone. The then 28-year-old Jamaican outboxed Duran in the second half of their 10-round non-title fight and earned a split decision win. One Ring magazine dubbed as the upset of the year, probably the upset of the decade. No, because Mike Tyson and Buster Douglas was in the 90s. That was part of the upset of the decade, beat the hands of Stone. But it was the upset of the year by Ring magazine. Now, while Duran recovered in a year later, went 15 rounds with fellow all-timer Marvelous Marvin Hagler at middleweight, Lang never fought for a major title in a career that lasted until 1994. Yeah, that was a non-title fight against Duran. Lang was never in a title fight. But a one-hit wonder on the strength of that win over, the hands of Stone, Roberto Duran, Kirkland Lane. Big win for him. If he's still living, he probably still bragging about that. And that was in the 80s. Alfredo Lane. I would be if I had to win over the hands of Stone. Just Do Boxing in the building. What's up, Just Do? 4 o'clock shorty. Coming up at 4 o'clock p.m. Bringing you that balanced, unbiased boxing talk. You get both sides of every equation and you get it right. Everybody gets their Just Do at Just Do Boxing. Salute, Just Do. One-hit wonders today. Okay? Like Buster Douglas and Leon Spinks, them guys. But they did have the title. Can't take that away from them. They didn't have it long, but they had it. Alfredo Lane. Okay? Now, Wilfredo Gomez became a 3-division champion in 1985, winning a junior lightweight belt. When he won the junior lightweight belt, they made him a 3-division champion. Just over a year later, the 29-year-old Puerto Rican faced mandatory challenger Lane in his homeland. A Panamanian fighter, Lane enjoyed the best night of his career. Trailing on all 3 scorecards, Lane dropped Gomez in the 8th round and earned the stoppage win after flooring the champion after vicious combinations in the 9th round. Lane did not follow this up well, losing the 130-pound title to Brian Mitchell just 4 months later and dropping the next 5 fights after that, one of which to Pernell Whitaker, before retiring with 15 wins and 12 losses. But he beat the great Wilfredo Gomez, took the title away from him. Okay. Now this guy here beat the Hawk. This next one beat Aaron Pryor, the Hawk. Barbie Joe Young. 31 and 7. One of those 31 was Aaron Pryor. scalp on his record. Yep. And the Hawk cried after that when I saw it. Took him lightly. Never a top, this is the only fight the Hawk ever lost to. Never a top contender. Young enjoyed the distinction of being the only man to ever beat Aaron Pryor. An oft-avoided junior welterweight with devastating power, Pryor dealt with drug problems for much of his career. After his 2 defeats over Alexis Arguello, Pryor trudged on through 1985. Now, he came back to the ring in 1987, meeting Young in his return fight, first fight back after a 2-year absence. Young knocked Pryor down twice in the fight, right? And it was a matchup of Ohio natives, both from Ohio. And the second time left Pryor dazed, right? And that forced the stoppage. Then the Carlisa's business at the time of the fight, the then 28-year-old Young fought only twice more before ending his career, 31 wins, 7 losses, 1 draw. But one of those 31 was against the Hawk. The only loss of Hawk's career was to Bobby Joe Young. One-hit wonder, Bobby Joe Young. Okay. Thomas Molinares. Yes, Thomas Molinares. One-hit wonder. Now, Molinares made his name on one of the most controversial endings in modern boxing history. The Colombian exited a 1988 welterweight title fight with Marlon Starling's belt. Now, Molinares knocked out Starling with a right hand thrown just after the bell, but referee Joe Cortez counted the champion out. The fight ended up being ruled a no contest. Now, it did change boxing henceforth with the 10-second warning, spawning, because of this sequence. You know, they do that clack, clack, clack. That came from this fight, okay? That's when that started, because of this fight right here, because he hit him after the bell and the referee kept counting, okay? So that clack, clack, clack is not just for the fighters, it's for the referee too, to let him know, get ready, the bell is coming up, man. Because Joe Cortez messed up. The man hit him after the bell and he counted it, but they did change it to a no contest, okay? But yeah, that started the 10-second warning. Now, Molinares, 23 wins, 2 losses, fought twice more. Starling won another welterweight belt by defeating Lord Huntington in 1989, but Molinares was never in another title fight in his career after that one, that controversial one. Rene Jacquot, or something like that. Jacquot, okay? Jacquot. Jacquot. First name Rene Jacquot. It's French. Drop the T, right? I guess. But let's talk about Rene. He's a one-hit wonder, whatever his name is. Okay. Now, one of the many welterweight champs in the lower profile years between the Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, and Roberto Duran era, and Pernell Whitaker's run. Ousted champion Donald Curry moved up to junior middleweight to earn a belt there. His first defense came against Jacquot. The fight occurred in Jacquot's native France and ended in a narrow, unanimous decision win for the challenger. Devling is Ring Magazine's 1989 upset of the year. I told them guys about having those belts and going to those other people's countries, man. Lost the narrow decision. Had it been in the United States, he probably would have got the nod. Now, Curry went on the Hall of Fame induction. Jacquot lost the 154-pound belt in his first defense by a first-round knockout to John the Beast Mugabe. Okay, now here's the biggest upset. Not just boxing, sports history right here. Just the man on the thumbnail. Oh, BD, Buster Douglas. 42-1 underdog. Not only beat Mike, stopped him, okay? Put him down for the count. Buster Douglas. Now he's the biggest one-hit wonder of them all. Author of the most shocking upset in boxing history, Douglas laid a blueprint for Andy Ruiz's title run nearly 30 years later. The inconsistent heavyweight put it all together on February 11th, 1990 by knocking out Mike Tyson after a full assault of 10th round punches. Tyson was a less polished version of the combination machine he once was, but was a 42-1 favorite to beat Douglas in Tokyo. I don't care what Tyson would have. Tyson could have showed up and had his best fight ever. He would not have beat that Buster Douglas that night because Buster was on one that night. Middle 80s Tyson wouldn't have beat that, but the best version of Mike Tyson would not have beat Buster Douglas that night. Buster Douglas was on one, but we never saw that Buster again. That Buster would have been one of the top heavyweights in the 90s. But like I said, we never saw him again. It wasn't Mike. Well, Mike didn't train and he was out of shape and stuff, but the best version of Mike Tyson could have showed up and I think he still would have lost. Still probably would have got knocked out by that Buster Douglas that night. Big, rangy heavyweight with a beautiful jab, not intimidated. The jab kept, Mike couldn't get in on it. Well, he did get in there and drop him one time, but Buster did get up. You know, Buster, you're going to get hit. But Buster did get up, but he consistently kept Mike at range with that beautiful jab, right? And a nice right hand behind it, too. In my opinion, the best version of Mike Tyson would have lost that night to that Buster Douglas. But yeah, anyway, Buster, 10th round knockout. Tyson was a less polished version of himself that night. And, you know, he still was a 42-1 favorite. Now, Douglas weighed 246 pounds for his October defense against Evander Holyfield, up 15 pounds from his Japan weight against Tyson. And he was stopped in 3 rounds by Holyfield. And after that fight, he faded out of the title picture quickly. But his upset against Tyson will live on forever. It was 1990, 35 years ago. I'm talking about it today. It will live on forever, man. That fight there. 25 years from now, the next box historian will be talking about it. Okay? Michael Bent in 2050. Michael Bent is next. Here's Michael Bent. Okay? Michael Bent. In the years immediately following Rocky V, Torrey Morrison became a top heavyweight contender. Now, the up-and-comer was being groomed for a title shot, but the less experienced Bent intervened. After defeating George Foreman for the then lesser-regarded WBO belt, Morrison ran into Bent in what was supposed to be an October 1993 tune-up. In just his 11th fight as a pro, Bent knocked Morrison out in the first round, right? Now, Morrison recovered after that fight, but he was never the same. Now, Bent lost his belt to Herbie Hyde in his first defense and abruptly retired due to health issues. He later followed Morrison's on-screen lead by playing Sonny Liston in Ali. Okay, I never knew that. That was Michael Bent, Sonny Liston in Ali. Okay, yeah, we all learning. I'm learning too. Steve Little, one-hit wonder. Steve Little. Now, Little challenged, he challenged former middleweight champion Michael Nunn for Nunn's super middleweight title in 1994. And he did so as a 40-1 underdog, almost as bad as Buster, 40-1. The Philadelphia native, despite possessing punching power, ex-sparring partner Bernard Hopkins said, couldn't crack an egg. That's what B-Hop said about it. But he knocked Nunn down in round 1 and upset him by unanimous decision in England. And when Little won the title, his record stood at 22 wins, 13 losses, and 2 draws. He could not replicate his career-defining performance in the first defense of the 168-pound strap, losing to future years-long champ Frankie Lyles. Little died of colon cancer in 2000 in Reading, Pennsylvania. Yeah, lost his belt in his first defense and never in another title fight. How about this one? This was the weirdest one-hit wonder here. Oliver McCall, the crybaby. Remember that? He cried, wouldn't stop fighting. He stopped Lennox in the first fight. In the second fight, after the third round, he stopped fighting, burst out crying. Now, the boxing world first discovered Lennox Lewis's vulnerability in 1994 when McCall, an opponent during a stay busy fight, while Lewis sought a matchup with Riddick Bowe or Evander Holyfield, McCall knocked Lewis out early in the second round. The new WBC champion defeated the 45-year-old Larry Holmes in his first defense. He did have a defense before dropping the belt to Frank Bruno. Now, Lewis McCall, too, brought one of the strangest and weirdest episodes in boxing history. Challenging Lewis for the vacant WBC belt in 1997, McCall lost after he broke down in tears mid-fight. McCall enjoyed highs and lows after that. He last fought in May of, but he last fought at 54 years of age. Was when he retired, 54 years of age. Oliver McCall, one-hit wonder. Ross Purity. Now we're coming to the Vladimir Klitschko section of the list. Now, the first fighter to successfully test the younger Klitschko's chin, Purity carried a 24-13-1 record into the 1998 fight against Klitschko in Klitschko's home country of Ukraine. The then 22-year-old Klitschko lost by TKO when his corner stopped the fight, and the 1996 Olympic gold medalist's rise was delayed a bit. The then 32-year-old American, Purity, had lost 3 of his last 4 fights. Purity finished his career with 20 losses. Another of those coming to the elder Klitschko brother, Vitaly, in 2001. Okay. Hasim Rahman makes the one-hit wonder list. There's Hasim Rahman. By 2001, Lennox Lewis had become by far the top heavyweight in the game, beating Evander Holyfield in 1999 to earn that distinction. But heavy underdog Hasim Rahman dropped the champion with a right hand in the 5th round of their April 2001 fight in South Africa. A Baltimore native who'd lost twice as a heavyweight contender, Rahman collected 2 major belts that night. Lewis, however, quickly atoned for his slip-up, which came after he filmed scenes for Ocean's 11. He flattened Rahman in round 4 of their November rematch. Rahman remained a contender for years, but did not come close to the heights he hit in 2001. He was in some more title fights, but never won another title. Hasim Rahman. But he did have it once. That made him a one-hit wonder. Corey Sanders. There's Corey on the right. Okay. Had to wet my whistle. Okay, here we go. Corey Sanders. Oh, shoot. Damn. I just hit the end button on my story. Okay, it's back. Beginning a mid-career descent for this era's premier heavyweight, Sanders exposed Vladimir Klitschko's suspect chin in his March 2003 wipeout of the future Hall of Famers. See, that's what I meant when we come into the Vladimir Klitschko section, because he's in 2 or 3 of these one-hit wonder. He was 2 or 3 of these one-hit wonders victim. Was Vladimir Klitschko. Here's the second one. Ross Purity beat him for his one-hit wonder status, and now Corey Sanders. Okay, this is a March 2003 upset of the future Hall of Famer, Vladimir Klitschko. Now, the smaller South African southpaw Sanders, at 37 years of age, connected many times with straight left hands, and the referee stopped the fight in round 2 after the 4th knockdown. So that's why Vladimir was on our week 10 list too, remember, in the highlights of boxing history. Now, Sanders' next fight, however, came against, guess who? Vitaly Klitschko, just like Purity. After Perry beat Vladimir, Vitaly came in and beat him. So he come clean up his brother's mess again. After Sanders stopped Vladimir, he lost to Vitaly, right? And after the loss to Vitaly, Sanders only fought four more times in his career. Then he hung up the gloves. Talked about one-hit wonders today. Lamont Brewster. That can't be right. These numbers are really the lights and the people in the building. Yeah. I'm still at 6. I had that when I started. Okay. It's got 0 up there for people in the building, and I'm in here on my phone and miscasted. There should be at least 2 people in the building. Well, let's go on. Lamont Brewster. Vladimir Klitschko is the victim of his one-hit wonderness. Vladimir Klitschko's career hit a crisis point after a 2004 meeting with Brewster. The then 30-year-old American became the 3rd mid-tier heavyweight to knock out the super prospect, stopping the then 28-year-old Ukrainian in the 5th round of their April 2004 fight. Despite being outlanded 199-70, Brewster followed Sanders' lead and capitalized on Klitschko's defensive weaknesses to win a vacant WBO belt. He defended it 3 times, once knocking out a faded Andrew Golota before losing to modestly regarded Serhiy Lakovic. Brewster's 2007 rematch with an Emmanuel Stewart-trained Klitschko ended in a 7th round knockout loss. Yeah, the next time he fought Vladimir had Emmanuel Stewart by then. Yeah. Emmanuel strengthened up that jab, taught him how to protect that chin, keep him at bay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Carlos Vladimir. Yeah, Vladimir was a much improved fighter when as soon as I said that, and then the numbers jumped up. YouTube must have heard me playing games. Carlos Vladimir. That's crazy, man. Yeah, Carlos Vladimir makes the one-hit wonders list. Now, Vladimir entered his 2006 title fight with Zab Judah as a 9-loss fighter, but outworked the unified welterweight champion in a unanimous decision win. The Argentinian outlanded Judah 161-91. That's Vladimir on the left, too. That's him and Zab right there, matter of fact. Outlanded Zab 161-91, but was given a narrow decision. Vladimir captured Judah's Ring Magazine belt and the linear 147-pound title, but sanctioning fee issues allowed the loser to keep 2 alphabet belts. Wow. So I guess Vladimir wouldn't pay the sanctioning fees, but I thought the belt would go vacant, but Zab kept it. I guess the alphabet group said Zab paid them sanctioning fees, you keep the belt, even though you lost. But anyway, it's just weird the way these sanctioning bodies work. They just do whatever they want to do, man. Lost the fight, but keep the belt. Now, Vladimir beat a shot-worn Arturo Gatti later in 2006, but soon saw his stock crater. Matched against Apex Floyd Mayweather Jr., Vladimir did not win a round on 2 scorecards. He was one of Canelo Alvarez's first high-profile wins in 2010. Carlos Vladimir never had another title after that. But it wasn't that bad. It didn't have that bad of a career. Carlos didn't. Breeders Prescott. Talk about some one-hit wonders. Breeders Prescott. There's Breeders. You got somebody on the mat. Let's see. Oh, shoot. What did I do? Let me just leave that like it is. I was going to take that title out, but Albina took the whole chat out, so let me just leave everything alone. Okay. Yeah, but he got somebody. You can see their feet up in the air, right? Okay. Breeders Prescott. Ticketed for superstardom. Well, guess who it is on the mat? It's so blessed, one of the people from our glass chin part. Amir Khan. It's Amir Khan. Okay. Ticketed for superstardom. Amir Khan saw his trajectory change in 2008. An Olympic gold medalist at just 17 in 2004. Khan was voted ESPN's Prospect of the Year in 2007. He was 18-0 and held a minor lightweight title when he met Prescott in September of 2008. The Colombian challenger shocked the boxing world by stopping the British talent in round 1. Tapped that chin. The hand speed demon suspect Chin revealed itself that night in Manchester. Right? After that, Khan was knocked out by Danny Garcia, Canelo Alvarez, and Terence Crawford. Prescott was unbeaten at that time. After that, he lost 18 times, including losses against Terence Crawford and Mike Alvarado. Wow. But he had that win against Amir. And that was for a vacant WBC belt. I believe it was WBC. Yep. That makes him a one-hit wonder. Al Booker says Jocko. And Al Booker is a member. Got 3 membership clubs. I got the Cast and Friends. The next level is the Put It in the Chat Club. And then the top level, we have the Boxtorian Society for the big wig country club type folks. The Boxtorian Society. Feel free to join. Cash App, Super Chat, comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Or just come listen to the show. I value that. Sonny Boy Jaro. Jaro entered the 2012 clash with elite flyweight champion Phongsalit Wanjongkam as a 10-loss challenger. Why do I see this guy's name every damn day? Wanjongkam was 83 wins, 3 losses, and 2 draws. Fighters in the low-weight divisions tend to age faster than their heavier contemporaries. Wanjongkam first won the WBC flyweight title in 2001, and after losing it in 2007, recaptured it a year later and reigned until the younger Jaro upended him. A then 30-year-old Filipino, Jaro knocked the 35-year-old Thai champion down 4 times and won by 6-round knockout. After that, Jaro proceeded to lose his next 3 fights, making him a one-hit wonder. Chris Algieri. Chris is a one-hit wonder. There he is. That ain't Chris Algieri, is it? No. I don't know what happened. It's Chris Algieri right there, right? Oh, I didn't change it. Yeah, that's what happened. Right, that was Jaro. Yeah, that's Chris Algieri right there. Okay, Chris Algieri. Okay, the Floyd Mayweather Jr. Manny Pacquiao super fight's 5-year delay was an indictment of boxing. While the former deserves more blame, Pacquiao's final pre-Mayweather opponent was the best random stopgap during the welterweight kingpin's standoff. Given a June 2014 title shot against WBO junior welterweight champion Ruslan Provodnikov, Algieri outlanded the rugged Ruslan by a significant margin, but looked the worse for wear after being knocked down twice. After his decision win, Algieri faced Pacquiao in Macau, China. Now, Pac-Man knocked the lanky 140-pound champion down 6 times, but being in that fight made Algieri a big name, okay? Jeff Horn. I don't know what that was about. My bad. Jeff Horn. Horn was 31, but his career was trending toward one-hit wonder status since he received the gift decision over Pacquiao in 2017. Although he was outlanded 182 to 92, nearly 100 punches, and nearly stopped in the 9th round, Horn captured Pacquiao's WBO welterweight belt on an Australian afternoon. So I keep telling him about going to those other guys' country. Manny did it and got burnt. The underdog size posed a problem, but the then 38-year-old Pacquiao and the majority of the public did not give Horn many rounds, but the judges did, scoring a unanimous decision win in one of this era's biggest upsets. Horn lost his title to Terence Crawford. Yeah, I think he had one more fight and then he retired. Yeah, but that was a very gift decision that night that they gave him that win over Pacquiao. Yeah, that's the final one. Okay, now, too early for the link. So I got, we're talking about one-hit wonders. These are not one-hit wonders, but these are just some of the shortest heavyweight title reigns in history. Okay, some of the shortest heavyweight title reigns in boxing history. Damn, I spilled juice everywhere. I had a tissue, but I can't find it. Okay. Gotta get it up for Miss Cass, get in here and see it. Okay. Oh, damn, she probably on here listening. Okay, some of the shortest heavyweight title reigns in history. Let's get into that. How's everybody this Tuesday afternoon? The rest of the week, we got a brand spanking new show for you tomorrow. It's going to be the most overrated and underrated boxers in history. Most overrated and underrated boxers in history coming up tomorrow. And then Thursday, boxing in the States is winding down. Just 6 more states to go. Thursday is Vermont. Boxing history in Vermont, some other significant things that occurred concerning boxing in Vermont, and then some boxers from Vermont. And we're going to find some. Even if it's just 1 or 2, we're going to find some boxers from Vermont. And then Friday, the profile is the life and career of the Galveston Giant, Jack Johnson. I looked at the list the other day, and I said, Jack Johnson's name ain't on here. I never did him. So we're going to do. We didn't talk about Jack Johnson a lot, but we never did the official profile on him, so we're going to do it Friday. Okay. But some of the shortest title reigns in heavyweight history, since we're talking about one-hit wonders and short title reigns. Now, remember, these are not one-hit wonders, but they had some short title reigns. They also had some long ones, too, some of these fighters, but, some of their reigns, they had at least one short one in there, too. Some of the shortest title reigns in heavyweight history. Let me just read the thing. Okay? Now, from Tyson Fury enjoying 2 spells as champion to his namesake, Mike Tyson's WBN, we delve into the record books to look at history's shortest ever world heavyweight title reigns, okay? Now, over the years, more organizations' complications have muddied the waters for unified holders. That's where most of the minimal spells as a world ruler have emanated from, okay? Let's take a look at 10 of the shortest tenures in heavyweight history as champion, okay? First one is Tyson Fury. He had the title once for 10 days. 10 days, okay? Yep, 10 days. Wow. Okay. Yeah, the top honor goes to none other than Tyson Fury, who held the IBF strap for just 10 days in 2015. Now, Fury defeated Vladimir Klitschko in Germany to claim the title, but was given an almost instant ultimatum by the IBF. Having already been contracted, and obliged to give Klitschko a rematch, Fury got backed into a corner. The title then had to be relinquished, and Charles Martin and Vyacheslav Blasko eventually fought for it. But Fury had it for 10 days. And he had had the contract to give Klitschko a rematch, but the IBF wasn't trying to hear that. They wanted him to fight the #1 contender, and Fury gave Klitschko the time for the rematch. So they stripped him within 10 days. They didn't even get a man time enough to. How did they know what he was going to do? I know he didn't fight Klitschko 10 days later. I can't just strip the man in 10 days, but they did it. He had it for 10 days. Tyson Fury. Okay, next, we're looking at something. The 10 shortest reigns in heavyweight history. Number 2, Riddick Bowe. 1 month and 1 day. Riddick had it for 1 month and 1 day. Okay. Now, winning a unified IBF, WBA, and WBC titles in November 1992 against Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe would give up the World Boxing Council version just over a month later. That was when he threw in the trash, remember? The WBC wanted Bowe to face Lennox Lewis next. Bowe had other ideas and chucked his green and gold strap into the trash can at an infamous press conference. Everybody remembers that. Bowe would instead take on Michael Dokes and knock him out in less than a round. So yeah, that was when that happened. He had the WBC strap after beating Holyfield for 1 month and 1 day. Okay, these are the 10 shortest heavyweight title reigns in history. Well, he beat Leon Spinks by 2 days because Leon had it for 1 month and 3 days. Okay, Leon had it for 1 month and 3 days. WBC, I think it was WBC because he ended up getting stripped because he wouldn't fight Ken Norton, who was the WBC's #1 contender. He gave Ali a rematch, which was the bigger money fight. You know, at that time, Ali was the cash cow. So Leon said, shoot. And I just beat him? Leon knew he was going to get paid. Leon said, I'm not fooling with no Ken Norton. That was the second Ali fight was probably the biggest payday Leon ever had. I don't blame him. Now, Leon Spinks, 1 month, 3 days, scoring one of the biggest shocks in boxing history. We just talked about it. Leon Spinks defeated Muhammad Ali in February 1978. Now, having claimed Ali's WBC and WBA belts, he kept the WBA. Spinks subsequently got ordered to face #1 contender Ken Norton. Rather than battle Norton, Spinks chose the most lucrative option, Ali, of course, right? No brainer. The WBC stripped him of the green and gold strap. Spinks then dropped his WBA version in a rematch to Ali in September 1978, the same year, but you can't blame Leon. Can you imagine the difference in money? Fighting Norton or Ali, and you just beat Ali as a 7 fight. It's just 7 fights in your career. Those numbers had to be very different. So you can't blame Leon for that. You know, anybody would have did that. Especially nowadays, how they look at money. You know, Leon wasn't worrying about no legacy. Well, yes, he was, because 2 straight wins over Ali would have been big. Just think if he would have beat him again. Wow. Number 4, Mike Tyson and Tony Tucker are tied. But I got Mike. 2 months and 2 days. 2 months and 2 days. Both of them had the title for 2 months and 2 days. Now, Mike Tyson took out Bruce Seldon in just 109 seconds to win the WBA title in September 1996. Now, agreeing to defend this title just 2 months and 2 days later, Tyson got stopped by Evander Holyfield in 11 rounds. So he didn't get stripped. He got beat 2 months and 2 days later. Wow. And then, what happened to Tucker? Well, but Tucker had 2 months and 2 days too, but there's no explanation for Tucker. So that's why I put Mike up there. Number 6. 5. Lucas Brown. Okay, we winding down. We just got the 10 shortest heavyweight title reigns in history. Lucas Brown. Come on, Lucas. Please, there you go. Lucas Brown. 2 months and 7 days. He beat Mike by 5 days. He had about 2 months and 7 days. Now, beating Ruslan Chagayev to win the WBA regular version on March 5th, 2016, Lucas Brown tested positive for a banned substance in the aftermath of the fight. The WBA eventually took away the strap. on May 12th, 2 months, 5 days later. Okay. And then the man he beat for the title, Ruslan Shagayev, is number 6. He had it for 2 months and 13 days. 2 months and 13 days, Ruslan Shagayev. On May 12th, 2016, Ruslan Shagayev was reinstated following his defeat to Lucas Brown, because Brown tested positive, right? And then he retired from boxing 2 months and 13 days later. So that's why his reign was so short. He retired. He got reinstated because Brown tested positive, and then he retired 2 months and 13 days later. Okay? Just got a couple more. Uh-oh, why this thing doing this? I hope it didn't get ready to go out on me. Ken Norton, this was right after Spinks got stripped and it was given to him. Norton had it for 2 months and 22 days because he fought Larry Holmes. He lost to Larry Holmes 2 months and 22 days after the WBC awarded him the belt, okay? Installed as WBC champion in place of Leon Spinks in March 1978, Ken Norton lost the championship in his first defense to Larry Holmes in June of that year, 2 months and 22 days later. Okay? These are some of the shortest reigns in heavyweight history. That was 7. Number 8 is Muhammad Ali. We only got 9. We don't have 10. We only got 9. Donnie Williams. What's up, Donnie? How are you today? Donnie Williams in the building. Appreciate you, Donnie Williams. Salute. We're just talking about some of the shortest heavyweight title reigns in history. Since we was talking about long one-hit wonders and short reigns anyway. Now, these are not one-hit wonders. They just had some short reigns for whatever reason or another, trying to explain them. Now, 8 is Muhammad Ali. He once reigned for 2 months and 23 days, beating Ernie Terrell in February 1960. This amount of time he was stripped. In February 1967, Ali became a fully unified heavyweight champion. A defense followed in March against Zora Farley. 2 months and 23 days after adding the WBA version to his WBC and New York State Athletic Commission belts, Ali gave up his position on April 29, 1967, in direct opposition to the Vietnam War. Ali would not fight again until 1970. So Ali got stripped because of that military situation, after he had the WBA for 2 months and 23 days. Okay, we only had 9. Finally, last of the Mohicans is always trying to go up when I'm at the top. Charles Martin. And Charles Martin had his belt for 2 months and 24 days. 2 months and 24 days, okay? American Charles Martin picked up the IBF heavyweight title, partially taken from Fury in 2015. Yeah, he won that fight against, we talked about it. It was some funny name guy. When they stripped Fury, right? Martin won that one, but then he only kept it for 2 months and 24 days. Remember, Fury kept it for 10 days. Martin didn't have it that long either. Okay, after he got the title, won the title that Fury was stripped in 2015 against Glasgow, that was his name, in early 2016. 2 months and 24 days later, Anthony Joshua pummeled the Prince in London to win his first ever world title. He just fought 2 months later and lost to Joshua, okay? And there you have it. The shortest heavyweight title reigns in history. Okay, let's get some link time now. I haven't had no link time in a minute. We're gonna get some now though, like 30 minutes of it. We got Just Do Boxing coming up in about a half hour. That balanced, unbiased talk. Remember, everybody gets their Just Do at Just Do Boxing. Okay, everybody. Okay, what am I trying to do? Anybody remember what I was doing? Oh, putting the link in. Let me see. Let's see, what am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Shit. I have no idea. Okay, yeah, but Just Do at 4. Did I tell you? Everybody gets to Just Do at Just Do Boxing. Why did I put that up? Oh, I was putting the link in. Why didn't somebody tell me? Y'all heard me say I was putting the link in. Nobody wouldn't even help the old guy and tell him what he was doing, but I forgot. I was putting the link in. T. Hill didn't even tell me, man. That's messed up. Man. Okay. Well, let's do that. But how's everybody today? It's Tuesday. Still early. Got a big show coming up tomorrow. The most overrated and underrated in boxing history. We got both of them. Most overrated and underrated boxers of all time. We got a piece on Michael Spinks on why was he so underrated. It had a lot to do with that. His last fight was that 91-second affair with Mike Tyson. You know, especially casual fans, that's all they know about Michael Spinks fight, because that was a big fight. Highly promoted fight against Tyson. And a lot of casuals watched that, and they don't know about Michael Spinks, the undisputed light heavyweight champion for all those years, the man that beat Larry Holmes twice. All they know is Michael Spinks is the man that got beat in 91 seconds by Mike Tyson. So that's why he's so underrated. But the man is an international boxing Hall of Famer, had a great career. We're going to talk about it tomorrow. Let me stop before I would have told y'all the whole piece now. Put this link in. Okay? And then Thursday, of course, Vermont. Boxing in the States. We've been trying to do Vermont for like 2 weeks. The last 2 Thursdays I wasn't on. We're going to get Vermont in this week. And then Friday is the Galveston Giant. I couldn't believe we had did the Galveston Giant, but we haven't. We're going to remedy that Friday. Life and career of Jack Johnson. Al Booker can come up here and do that one. Jack Johnson expert. Yeah. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, now you know I gotta make sure my I's are dotted and my T's crossed. Or is the T's dotted and the I's crossed? Because if it ain't, Thomas Hill will let me know. Quick. He didn't even let me know what I was doing. Okay, here we go. Here's the link, everybody. All are welcome, okay? Everybody's welcome to hit this link. Okay? All right. It's in there. And don't say it ain't right, T. Hill. That's right. Yeah. What we got coming up this weekend? We had a great, I think it's like 4 cards. We had some great boxing last weekend, though. Yeah. Rolly and Ryan, that was a shocker. I thought Ryan was going to stop him. I said about 7. But damn, Rolly got it done. And it was ironic. He put Ryan down with, of all punches, 2 left hooks. That's what I thought Ryan was going to finish Rolly with. But that thing was wow. Them left hooks was fast. Unbelievable how he doubled up on that thing, man. Rolly said, yeah. And Rolly was playing some defense. More defensive responsible than I ever seen him. His new trainer, the Sailors, has done some good work with Rolly, man. Yeah. He was jabbing. He wasn't throwing everything for the home run. And then when he was punching, he wasn't leaving himself open. He was keeping that left hand back, or he was bringing it back up, guarding his face. He really was, I was impressed with Rolly's performance Saturday, to say the least. And then Devin Teofimo. We got a big top rank card coming up soon, too. Down in Norfolk, DB3. Abdullah Mason is stepping up. He's taking on that African guy. What's his name? He's become a gatekeeper because the Mexican guy beat him too. I can't even think of nobody's name, but yeah. the young Mexican prospect. I wouldn't say he's a prospect. He's right there between prospect and contender status, right in that sweet spot. Murray Tyler, he beat him. Nakathila, okay, yeah. Abdullah stepping up, taking on Nakathila. That'd be a good test for the youngster. I think he'll pass it, but that's a big test for Abdullah right there. Nakathila, yeah, most definitely is. That'd be interesting. But yeah, that's a big top-ranked card. A lot of the youngsters on there. Tiger Johnson on there. All three Davis brothers. Keyshawn is fighting. I'm gonna tell you in a minute because I can't remember now. This was yesterday when I read that. Y'all know damn well I don't remember something I read yesterday. Okay, but yeah, it's coming up in next month, early next month. Is the Tank and Lamar Roach fight still on? It's not on the schedule anymore. Tank's supposed to be fighting Jake Paul in November, I heard. What is that all about? Who wants to see that, man? I'll just go to the circus if I want to see something like that. A 200-pounder fighting a 135-pounder. No. Yeah, but this weekend, I think we got like 4 cards. This is the 10th, right? Yeah. We got one from San Diego. Emmanuel Navarrete climbing into squared circle. Okay, but I'm going to get to that Charlie Suarez, to that top-ranked card next month. That's the next big one. You know? Erickson Lubin is fighting tomorrow, too. Yeah. He's fighting Andreal Holmes Jr. 154. Yeah, Lubin's still around. And we got a card Sunday, too. Fernando Martinez and Kazuto Ioka. That could be good. 12 rounds for Martinez's WBA junior bantamweight. There they go. Going to them other people's countries as champions. Jai Apataya, he's fighting about Tuesday. I'm trying to get to that card from the Scope. That's early June. The next DB3. Wonder if the sister's going to sing the national anthem. Again, they did a great job that other time. Remember? Keyshawn fought in Norfolk for the first time. Caleb Plant back in action May 31st against Jose Resendez. Oh, sweet hands. There we go. June 7th, Norfolk Scope. Keyshawn taking on Edwin De Los Santos, okay, for Keyshawn's WBO belt. Abdullah Mason, Jeremiah Nakathila. That's a big step up for the youngster there. That'll be a good test for him, 10 rounds. I think Abdullah will pass it. But I don't think it's going to be no, I don't know. Nakathila got, Muratala got Nakathila out of there in 2 rounds, so it might be early. I don't know. Calvin Davis on the card. Nahir Albright, 10-rounder. And then Keon Davis on there to be announced. Of course, Troy Isley, they're all always on the same card. Troy's taking on, Itandi, Michael Williams, middleweight. Tiger Johnson against Maurice Hooker. Tiger stepping up against a vet. Good test for Tiger. Maurice Hooker, okay. Nice test for Tiger. Maurice Hooker. Yuri Salino of Belmina. Derek Davis and him Parker. That is a nice test. Then Junto Nakatani back in action. June 8th. Tokyo, Japan. Ryusuke Nishida. That could be good. Nishida will give him a test. It's a unification. Nakatani WBC, Nishida IBF. Them guys unifying down there at 118. That could be good. Nishida is solid. Yeah. But somebody gonna leave a little bit lighter with some of that jewelry gone. Somebody's belt gonna be gone. Then we got Tenshin Nasukawa on the card. Victor Santillan. So got some good action coming up. Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, they didn't erase Richardson Hitchens and George Kambosos too. Is next month in New York. Brian Norman, I told them about taking their titles to them other countries. Brian Norman going to Japan to take on Jen Sasaki. Okay, they will never learn. Mr. Grandy. Oh, Mr. Grandy says Mason stops him. Salute, Mr. Grandy. I think so. Just when, that's so. That's the only question, Mr. Grandy. When? Yeah. Because I know Muratalo stopped Nakatila in 2 rounds. So how long will it take Mason? That's the only question I had, But that's a good test for the youngster. Nice veteran fighter, Nakatila. Been around the ropes, been around, seen a lot of different things. But yeah, I agree, Mason will stop him. But salute, Mr. Grandy. Good to see you today. This thing still got me on 6 likes. I had that when I started. None of y'all hit the like. I ain't saying another word. I'm just kidding. Okay, but salute, Mr. Grandy. Yeah, I don't see Tank and somebody. Is that fight off? Him and the guy from DC. That's not on here anymore, man. That worries me. But I don't know. It's supposed to be June 21st, right? It's got this other fight for June 21st. Vito Malnicki is on here. So I don't know. Very interesting. We will see. We will see. Don't forget, though, we got a good one tomorrow. We're going to talk about some of the most overrated and underrated. And specifically, why is Michael Spinks so underrated? I told you, everybody remembers that his last fight of his career was at 91 seconds with Mike Tyson. And that's what people remember of him, Some people say he took a dive. I don't think so. It was Mike Tyson. The second most intimidating fighter ever behind Sonny Liston. Maybe third behind Sonny Liston and George Foreman. But definitely top 5, And then Mike come out there with a damn towel on around his neck, a hole cut in a towel with his head through it. And that's it. Okay? No robe, no t-shirt, no nothing. Right? And he came out for that fight. I don't think he had nothing planned. I think he just walked out there. Remember? I don't think he had no music or nothing. He might have had the Undertaker's music, but I don't know. I know it was something somber or either nothing. He just walked out there, man, and Michael Spinks standing in the ring looking crazy, like, oh my God, what did I get it? OMG, what did I get into? But he made a lot of money. Made his biggest payday ever, so yeah. And he lived through it, so hey. Might have suffered a little bit of brain damage, but hey, what's a little bit of brain damage for $30-40 million, huh? Yeah. But you can see the look in his eyes when Mike was coming to the ring, that the realization hit him. I'm getting ready to fight Mike Tyson. And it wasn't much of a fight. And that's a big reason why he's so underrated, because that's what a lot of people remember him by. A lot of casual fans watched that fight because it was huge. It was Mike Tyson, And a lot of them might have never ever seen Michael Spinks in another fight. And that's all they remember of him, But the man, like I was saying, was a great champion, Light heavyweight was one of the best 80s was one of the big decades for light heavyweights, man. And oh, you ain't doing it, Mr. Grande? Okay. Damn. Jamal fighting somebody named Cornflake. Damn. Okay, so I thought it was off. Damn, it's off. And Mr. Grande, I heard he's fighting Jake Paul. What's up with that, man? Jake Paul? What? Don't nobody want to see those Mike Tank and Jake Paul. I wait for the circus to come back in town, man. See that sideshow type nonsense? It's just a money grab. Come on, man. That's why they created weight classes in the first place, to prevent that kind of nonsense. Because back in the 1800s, early, you would have people 100 pounds apart fighting each other because we didn't have weight classes. And the fans was displeased with that. That's why they created weight classes. And now they're going back to the same nonsense in 2025, over 200 years later. You got a guy that fights at 135, fighting Jake Paul. At least a cruiserweight. Probably walked the street like 230, 240. What Tank walked the street? 140? Come on, man. Nobody wants to see that. But the casual fans will. It's one of the biggest names in boxing and a big name in influencer boxing. I told you about influencer boxing the other day. It ain't doing nothing to help boxing. None of the problems boxing have, influencer boxing can't fix them. Influencer boxing can't get rid of these greedy promoters. Influencer boxing can't make these top fighters fight each other on a regular basis. Influencer boxing can't get rid of these messed up ass sanctioning bodies. So influencer boxing cannot fix boxing, okay? Our best hope is the Saudis. Our best hope is the Saudis right now. Sad to say, but it is. Because they get it out the mud. They can fix it. Start making those big fights. You know, paying these guys to get in there with each other. Mr. Grandi says, Conor Ben versus Tim Tszyu. Tszyu? I got Tim Tszyu on that one, Mr. Grandi. I got Tim Tszyu. Tim might stop him. Definitely got Tim Tszyu, Mr. Grandi. Who you got on that one? What's up, T Hill? I think I brought Thomas Hill up. What's happening, T Hill? Yeah, but Mr. Grandi, I got Tim Tszyu all night on that one. Likely by stoppage. Yeah. Conor was impressive against Eubanks, though, but Eubanks ain't Tim Tszyu. You know, Tim Tszyu gonna be bringing a lot more heat than Chris Eubanks was bringing him. What's up, T Hill? I can't hear you. Let me see. I'm gonna take you off and put you back on. Okay. Let me bring you back in again. T Hill. Maybe he's doing something else. Yeah, but definitely Tim Tszyu. Likely stoppage. Yeah. Especially because it looked like Conor weakened late. When it got late in the fight, that's when Eubanks really started getting to him. And Tszyu in that situation may get him up out of there. We got somebody else too. Oh, that's Ant. Let me see. Oh, T Hill went out. Ant came in. Okay. What's up, Ant?
What's going on, guys? What's going on?
Oh, not too much. Yeah, I couldn't get T Hill in. What's happening with you?
Oh, just had some lunch.
Okay. Well, yeah,
down
work.
in the box. No, I'm about to go get my kids from school in a few minutes. Well,
okay.
Not in a few minutes, but in about an hour.
Yeah.
After school, so.
How you like those fights this weekend, eh?
I didn't.
You didn't?
Nah.
No. What about Rose? What was you gonna say?
I wasn't too crazy about the Fatal Fury.
Okay. Yeah. Why?
Do you think there's a possibility that all of the pre-planning can have an effect on the way that these guys are going about their business?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely can. You know? Yeah, I think so. What about you?
It was one of the things that I was considering.
Okay.
It's like, especially with the co-main and the main event.
Yeah, I can see that.
During the whole build-up, there was a lot more emphasis on Devin and Ryan.
Yeah, It sure
than
was.
it was about their respective matchups that they had this past weekend.
Yeah. Everybody was like, it was a foregone conclusion that they was both going to
Yep.
win.
Just walk through these guys, just waltz through them, and then in the fall, these guys would have their rematch. But Ryan looked like he stopped trying after he got dropped.
Yes, he did.
And Devin was beyond safe.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna say you took the words
It was
out of my
beyond
mouth.
safe.
Yeah, he took it to the next level of playing the
Yeah. Whatever word that can be used to describe a heightened sense of like conservativeness.
Yeah,
I don't even know, but
yeah,
I need to find that word. That's what I saw from Devin Haney.
he definitely took it to the next level. Yeah, he's gonna make sure I'm not losing this.
Yeah, this using your legs, which I don't think any fighter should be criticized for. You know, you got 2 feet, you should use them.
Use them. That's right. Yeah.
But it was just the twitchiness and how frantic he looked.
What about the monster? You like that one? The monster got up.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Thing, man. Yeah, it was. It was a very good fight. That was the best one of the weekend, I thought. Yeah.
Without question. Yeah, that was a good fight. I thought what's name was a surprisingly good fight too.
Jagba and Bapoli.
Yeah, I didn't have high hopes for that one, T Hill. Matter of fact, I didn't have any expectation. I went into that just like, okay, that's
Which
cool.
one?
A Jagba and Bacoli.
Oh, okay, yeah. I forgot all about that one. I
That's a Jagba. That was the most fluidity I've seen that man move with. Kudos to him. I thought he did a terrific job. You can tell he really prepared for this. Because that man, his conditioning was on point. Very seldom do you see big guys like that. Because Efe Ajagba was 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
250 something. And the guy was just moving. He was up on his toes.
I didn't even see that one, though.
Man, I said, this guy is in phenomenal conditioning. And he was throwing punches, too. He was punching off the movement. I'd never seen him box like that, like with so much fluidity and grace. He was terrific. Martin Bacoli, he's really good, but he's frustrating to watch. Extremely frustrating to watch. Yeah, he just fought Joseph Parker.
Yeah. What makes him so frustrating? Even
you mentioned in the Joseph Parker fight, that was Exhibit A. Right? And then Exhibit B was Saturday night. Okay. You see a guy who can throw all the punches with good technique. He's got good hand speed, good timing, and all those things. But just the fact that this guy seemingly refuses to work on his conditioning. Yeah. I feel like it's a huge hindrance to his potential.
Yeah, that definitely holds him back.
Oh my Lord. He was getting so frustrated in there. He was screaming at Ajagba, telling him to stop using his legs. Like he just wanted him to just either languish on the rope so he could punch on him, or for them guys to just stand in the center of the ring.
Right, make it easy for me. Come on, man.
Yeah, bro, just work on your conditioning.
Right.
And then you won't have these issues trying to track these guys down.
That's right.
Because most of them guys at heavyweight don't move like that anyway. So
nope, they sure don't.
And if they do, they can't sustain it.
Not for 12 rounds.
Just work on your conditioning. Like all that coming in over 315 pounds that's weak, man.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's really robbing himself.
That's exactly what he's doing. What's up, T Hill?
Oh man, I'm listening to you, Cook. Great show that you did. And
you must have something going on the first time, right?
Nah, I was at my church building, man, and we get bad reception up in there.
Oh,
and I hadn't been hooked up to the Wi-Fi. We just now figured that situation out. And I'm on when I'm up here, I'm usually on my data. So my data losing spots inside this church. The church is like, I don't know. I don't know. It
Yeah.
blocks a whole lot of stuff. Our reception is bad.
What did you think about Saturday? Me and Ant was talking about the build-up. Do you think that affected what happened in the fights? All the talk about what was going to
Build-up
happen
for
after
Saturday?
these fights?
You talking
Yeah.
about the build up for
Freedom
Canelo?
Fury. The how they was
Oh,
talking about what
Friday.
was going to happen after these fights more than they talked about these fights. Remember?
Yeah. No, on Friday. On
I
Friday,
mean, Friday.
I think so. I think that the fighters likewise, they didn't perform to their very best. The build up was great. I mean, it was billed as, I don't know if you ever watched or heard of this thing called battle rap, but they got this format that they do for their battles called the night of main events, and they call it Gnome. They build it as like each fight being a main event, and unfortunately, none of the fights like lived up to the billing.
Right.
A couple of fights in particular were involving people who have been off for a very long time. So, that may have been a direct impact on the way they were able to perform. Then you got, Tio being Tio.
Yeah.
Tio had a pretty dang good performance. I just thought that, Barbosa, he wasn't able to do what I thought he might be able to do in there. And I mean, you got to credit Tio for that as well, too. But he was able to touch him. And Tio looks like he's in a fight a lot more often as each fight passes. So he's got to be careful when he gets in there with somebody who really can starch. Because his face is looking like somebody to put.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it looked like somebody to put hands on that man every dang fight these last couple of fights. And he's pretty much dominated the fights. Like I say, Ramirez, man, people gonna talk about Devin Haney because they don't like Bill, and because for the most part, man, and I'm gonna say this, man, because it often just goes by the wayside. But a lot of the stuff is because they over demonize, they over vilify, and they over, saturate the hate that they give for Tank, so people respond in kind, and that's not cool, bro. Like, I had a talk last night with one of my good buddies on a platform, and I was telling him, like, bro, the one thing that you did when somebody did you dirty was you stay calm, remain quiet, and you thought. And because of that, you handled yourself admirably. And I think that that's what people that are rooting for these people need to do, man, because a lot of times they hurl hate, they hurl venom towards a fighter for no reason at all, bro. Like, hey, he didn't look good. He hadn't been fighting for a while. He came off of a fight where he really looked bad in spots, and it probably impacted his psyche. And, he was a little cautious out there when he was in that ring. No doubt about it. He did win. And it's not up to him to make the other fighter cut the ring off. It's up to the other fighter to learn how to cut the ring off. And if you can't cut the ring off, then that's on you. That's not on me. So, I don't have as bag of draw. Was it a snooze fest? Yeah, they didn't throw a lot of punches. Yeah, but hey, he came in there and he did what he had to do and he won. So kudos to him.
What y'all think about the monster Sunday?
I thought the monster myself, man, was the monster. Like, yo, we did a breakdown on one of his fights, and we noticed that certain things he's susceptible to. But in order for you to get to that susceptibility, you're gonna have to.
He fixed it.
Oh, well, the man is skilled, bro. Like, so whatever people say about him, he is skilled. You know what I'm saying? It's not like it's easy work. But the move that my man did was really, really impressive, man. He sidestepped through the punch. He went into it, caught him. It had a pretty good effect on him. I mean, but, he was nothing that had him wobbled. And, like, He's like one of those people that, like, if you upset, he gets more dialed in. Very few people are that way, but when he gets upset, he gets focused. And when he's focused, man, he puts those punches together, and it's ridiculous. The outcome, I thought it was not a good stoppage, but I thought it was going to go that way no matter what. I thought that it was only a matter of time before them punches was going to actually land and they were going to have effect.
Yeah.
So you can be mad at him, but step it. And I'm going to say this too, because many people thought the fight before should have been stopped. So when Espinoza was fighting, a lot of people was talking about, yo, they should have stopped it. And now you got that being probably talked and echoed in the thing. So he's like, no, I'm not about to let it get to that point with me. Like, because for a couple of weeks in a row, people have been really harsh on well, not a couple of weeks, but just a couple of main fights in a row. People have been harsh on refs. So they hear that stuff too, bro. Yeah, like they got people following Willis to talk to him and, you know, ask him why he did what he did. Man, this man's off the clock. So, you know, nobody wants that. And honestly, I thought that Eddie was still fighting valiantly. You know, so if that man says he want to go, I let him go. Yeah. But when it became enough, and he finally said, "Okay, I don't want to see you take anymore." And I mean, respect to that. I think that card was the best card of the weekend. I thought we got some pretty dang good performances on there. I thought that fight before that fight was good. But the fight before was even better, man. That fight wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? And I know I left that knowing that, yo, in order for you to you got to be able to have my man Espinoza worried about something. And when he's worried about something, you'll see him start doing stuff that he probably shouldn't be doing, like throwing bows. But if he ain't worried about something, he can find a way, man. He gonna put punches together. Yeah, I like Espinoza. I like him too. I like to see how he does in a fight again with Robeisy without the elbows. But I kind of think that he's going to be a problem no matter what, man. He's just...
Monster said MJ is next in August, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think that we'll see more of the same. He might get some trouble. But I think that Monster is able to figure it out. Like I said, man, I think the fight with you really gonna have to do some serious damage to him in order for him to tap out. Because I know,
you know, he said he loves the brawl.
Well, then he had his orbital bro, and that's serious pain. And on top of that, and that fight was tough.
Early in the fight too, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was tough, man. And Nonito, while he wasn't the Filipino Flash of all time, he's still a threat. Yeah. And hey, he was able to get through that. Weather that storm, you're gonna have to come with some stuff.
I know.
So MJ gonna have to come with some stuff. And if he don't come with no stuff, it may go longer into the fight. But I do expect that Monster will do what he has to do to figure things out. I like to see him versus Nakatani though. That's my fight.
What do you think about that one, MJ and Monster? Oh, salute D for the win.
Salute D for the win. That's my guy.
I think that MJ should be relatively prepared, considering that Cardenas is actually one of his stablemates.
Okay.
They share the same coach. So in a sense, you can say that Cardenas was somewhat of a scout.
Yeah.
So they got the intel. They know how to exploit some things.
That's right.
They got some evidence. What was that, second round?
Second round. Yep. Left hook.
That left hook.
That's a good
and this
point,
is what?
They got some information. Yeah.
2 out of his last 3 fights, he's hit the deck.
Yep.
Same
Early.
punch, similar position.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that the coach is coming up with a game plan now based on what they've seen and from their own experience, and also being able to witness it up close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still think Inoue is probably just yeah.
Okay.
He's a very difficult guy to bet against.
Yeah, for sure.
He's a very difficult guy to bet against because not only is he generally sharp and explosive, but we've seen now that the guy is not a front runner.
Yeah.
You got some guys where they get in trouble and then they try to shy away. They get real defensive. He turns it up a notch.
Yes,
I can't remember the last fighter I've seen like this that's been advertised in this way, where they've, hit the deck and then they just got up and just looked even sharper, looked even more locked in, more violent.
Because remember, after the fight, he was excellent what he did to make the adjustment after that left hook. He said, I just did what was necessary to not get hit by that punch again. So you're right. He's a hard guy to bet against, the monster.
And part of it is on Cardenas too, because I felt like after a certain point, there was little to no setup involved.
Yeah.
He just started winging it, and it became very, very predictable.
Yeah, you can't do that against the monster.
Yeah, you got to mix it up or something. Like, start maybe, go to the body, stab him to the body, get him to drop his hands, or condition him to defend against a body attack, then come back upstairs, or mask the left hand with a right hand, similar to like Oscar De La Hoya. If you watch an Oscar De La Hoya fight, like around the time he got with Floyd Mayweather Sr., he did a fantastic job of doing that. Because, Oscar is essentially a converted Orthodox fighter. He's left-handed.
Right.
So he uses straight right hand like a jab almost. So it's really just a blinder. It's like a placeholder. Just blind, and he put the left hook behind it. It's like with Cardenas, it's like he landed that left hook and he forgot almost that there were other punches that he could throw.
Yeah. He just looked like he just was trying to get that one punch in again.
Yeah, he was trying to duplicate that success.
Mm-hmm.
The monster would have none of it. He was just a little too sharp for that.
Yeah. He wasn't letting that happen again. He said it after the fight.
And another thing I think that monster did that was, it was the thing that really, really turned the tide in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
The body attack.
Yeah.
Early on, he was headhunting. When they went back to their neutral corners, well, when they went back to their corners, Cardenas told his coach, he's like, I could take his power. It's nothing crazy.
Sure did.
Then he started getting his body lit up. The monster softened him up, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's what you said, though, Ant, man. You got to work that body. Like, when you get him like that, you got to attack that body. Because that's what really Monster does, his greatest work to your body. So eventually, no matter what, man, you just looking to tap out. You don't want to get hit no more, not even in the head or the body. And I agree with you fully, man. I think a lot of people will have to start thinking about, especially fighting him, you're going to have to take the risk to hit that body, because that's the only thing that's going to really soften him to the point where you can get him up out of there. Because if you just hit him in the head, nah.
I was thinking Monster might stop him with a body shot eventually. That's what I was thinking at one time.
His body work is devastating, man. Mm-hmm. So I'm sorry for interrupting you, but you're right about that.
Yeah.
People don't invest in that body like they should. The ones who actually are dominant, they definitely.
Yeah. 100%.
Well, my bad, Ed.
What happened to the Tank and Lamont Roach fight? What happened to the Tank and Lamont Roach fight? That's Mr. Grandi said that was off. Is it?
The what fight?
Tank and Lamont Roach.
I don't know what's going on. And I could tell you that the things with Tank is beyond the ring. They really are beyond the ring.
Yeah,
And
you said that
unfortunately,
before. Yeah.
If he can't get himself settled for that, then I don't know if fights will ever happen. I mean, for you to talk about somebody and then try to get in the ring with them as an exit strategy, it shows you where it is. And then, like I said, it's something that allows for you to provide for all your people that you care for, and you're doing it. It seems like you want to shut all of that down and insist that other folks not following the line of the sport because of things, man. It's something bigger at play, and it's beyond like just a coaching matchup and things of that nature. So, I mean, I don't know what's going on with that. I hope that, he can get it together, man, because the only thing that I could suggest if he would listen to me, man, is I tell him to go back to basics, man, and keep his camp small and not entertain any outside noise. Just grind and do what you got to do. Even if it costs you some money, just grind and do what you got to do. Finish off the names that you said you wanted to fight if you can get as many of them as you can, and then go on and call it a career. You done did enough. Yeah. But, I mean, his ultimate fight should be to go to the rematch. But if he don't even do that, I'm fine, man. I just want him to get whatever he's going to do in his last couple of things completed without anything happening to him or none of the people that he fight, bro. That's it's getting to that point, man, because like I said, people who gonna hate him gonna say, he finally got exposed and he got shook and he knows now he ain't gonna be able to people. That's not gonna be the case. That's never been the case, and that's not the case for a lot of these fighters, bro. But this what people do. Yeah, people. The thing is beyond the sport, man. I mean, that's the only thing that I really can say. And you could tell, by the way, when he said the fight was canceled, you could tell something was off. And it has nothing to do with his fear in the ring or all this other stuff that people will apply.
Yeah. Well, just you done started. What else you got, Ant, before we get out of here? Anything you want to add to the conversation?
Yeah.
Before we get on over here to
man, I would say if he's no longer interested in boxing, I would say just wrap it up, man. I don't think there's any need to prolong it.
Yeah, definitely.
If you're not in that headspace, then don't even do it. Not even for the money. I'm pretty sure he's made enough money to where he could parlay his money into other things, invest, and so on and so forth, and get into other spaces. He likes clothes, obviously. Maybe get into fashion or something. Who knows? But if he's not fully invested in boxing, I say just wrap it up.
Let it go.
Yeah, because we look at these guys' careers like when they hit the mainstream and all that other stuff, but their career really begins when they first start. And this guy's been doing it since he's 6 years old.
Years old, right?
Got damn near 30 years of boxing experience. I'm pretty sure he's tired of having to do all of the things that you got to do just to prepare for fights.
And that's every fight, Yeah.
Yep.
Well, you got that. Then you got the fact that, because you are who you are, as you once stated, you got too many people not really caring about your well-being, but how you can impact their well-being.
Yep, that's a good point there. Yeah.
That's what I would say. I would say wrap it up. Don't be overly concerned about what anybody's going to say about your career and your legacy, because ultimately it's defined by him.
That's right.
If his biggest concern was to make it out of a dire circumstance, he's done more than that, and be an example or be a beacon for those around him. An example that they can point to, be like, yo, look, this guy did it this way. It may not even have to be boxing for somebody else, but like, yo, it's possible to overcome these circumstances. If that's what his legacy is for him, then that's what he should be concerned with. Not whether or not somebody believes that he's worthy of pound for pound status or worthy of being inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
He has to determine what it is for him and just stick with that.
That's right. Fewer words never spoken. Okay, we're gonna get ready to get out. Just didn't officially started. I was looking at him at the same time. Yeah, he's talking about Turkey Ali Sheik, once black heavyweight champ. We can go see what that's about. But appreciate y'all as always. Aunt McQueen and Thomas Hill. Okay, T Hill, you the closer, man. If it's let me play Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. It's the Box Story, bringing you all that boxing history. Take it away, T Hill.
Well,
You still there?
I'm still here.
You're the closer, man.
Again, you know, fantastic show. You know, talking about them one-hit wonders, because, you know, one-hit wonders happens in all of life. We have people that are recording artists. They make one hit. They blow up. Nowadays, you translate that into a viral video that blows you up. And next thing you know, you big news. Well, in the fight road, like you say, everybody loves competitive natures. Everybody loves people besting their skill versus another skill set. And in boxing, you get the ultimate in that in the ring. And it's for people to see. It can get broadcasted. And likewise, you might find somebody that had such a huge impact in a fight that it changed the course of their lives and ultimately the course of how boxing is being viewed. And we want to thank the Boxtorian for bringing that to light today, man. Shedding light on some people who were significant, if only for one night, if only for one fight. And they still need to be recognized. So shout out to Cash Sports for doing that. Shout out to the chat. None of this is possible without you. Interaction is always key in everything we do. And to effectively communicate means we get a better baseline of understanding. So shout out to Mr. Grandy. Shout out to D for the win. Always for my guy, D for the win. Al Booger, the professor, Donnie Williams. You know what I'm saying? Just Do Boxing, who, when you're done here, make sure you go over that way to Just Do Boxing, where he always gives boxing as Just Do, and you're going to get the true spectrum of boxing. It won't be slighted or biased. Got Mike Mazik, the champ. Got Mike Rim. Everybody, if you could, pray for Mike Rim. Very solid brother. Is going through some issues with his health, and he would like your prayers, and we would like to see him get back to good health. And then there's that good brother, the boxing pharmacist. If you want the good prescription for boxing talk, sign on over to BM Boxing News, where he gives you that proper prescription. Mrs. Cass, the better half. You cannot go wrong when you got a better half like Miss Cass. Shout out to the people who were looking, that did not participate into the chat, but was there rocking alongside. And for those who will catch it on the playback, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Become a member. Everything helps to let boxing have its place in history. He is Cash Sports, the Boxtorian. You can find him Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. shorty, Eastern Standard Time. On my side, that's 11 a.m. So, you know, if you're around the western parts of the towns, then that's 11. And anywhere in there between, you can find him an hour there or so behind. Make sure you guys have a blessed day. Make sure you guys respect life, yourselves, and one another's. And when we go and talk about these conversations, make sure we issue that same respect that we would like for ourselves. Because a lot of people are doing things in this sport that most people can't do. And willing to put their bodies through. They are not bums. They are not trash. They don't duck. There is a business that is going on. People make money. They put up money. And they want their return on investment. The biggest investment should be the fighters. And they're not getting the biggest piece of the pie. So let's give them the respect. Let's give them the courtesy. And let's give them the professionalism of fandom, not fan adness. so that they can go out there and do their very best. And see you on the next time, next show. And be easy, everyone.
The legendary Thomas Hill.